photographs that you see are taken by either me or Prathima. Okay? Or somebody. Or, okay. So, what I want you all to do is take a quick moment. Imagine an 8-year-old girl walking with a bundle of dirty clothes on her head, a tiny head, whatever she can manage, walking amidst thick rainforest with a group of elderly women around her. This forest is lush green. It has lion-tailed macaques. It has the great bison. It has the only found flying squirrels, heaven of king cobra, pythons, and this small 8-year-old girl is just walking carefree. And where is she going? She's going to wash that bundle of clothes into a stream, have a dip in that water there, and spend the afternoon on the river bed, drying the clothes and eating whatever they've packed for the lunch. Friends, this is how I grew up. In a village called Agumbe, Someshwar. This place, Agumbe, is known to receive the highest rainfall in India. It is one of the only equatorial rainforests that you have, heaven of king cobra, and of course you have those green vipers that can stare into your eyes and look at you when you're walking. They can just go and peck on your forehead, and there you are, frozen. This is my grandmother's home, and every summer holiday I used to spend 2 months there in that forest with my sisters, wearing a petticoat, giving a damn to the world, and walking in these forests. There is a peak called the Agumbe Peak where you go up. You can see the sunset into the Indian Ocean. It is a 100-kilometer stretch, a straight plain, okay? And on a clear day, you can actually see the sun setting into the water. And what we used to do? We used to trek up that Agumbe Peak in the morning, spend the time with the forest officials there, getting to eat whatever they can give us, spend the sunset there on the peak, look at it, and hitch a high ride on any of the bikes coming down from Shimoga, going to Manipal or to Udupi or to Mangalore. This, I didn't know it was called treks. I did it because I had nothing else to do. This, I didn't know, now I have to pay money to do all these things. I did it because, oh, it was wonderful, it was beautiful, and that's a part of me. Today, you ask me to do this, I would just say, thanks and all, I won't work for it, so I'm going to do this. But I do it, every opportunity that comes to me, at the drop of the hat, I go and do this. Prathima, do you think you also do this with Sangeetha?
Absolutely. So I started trekking because when you're in college and pocket money is limited and you don't want to go back to your parents, the best way of traveling for free is to go on treks. You go on a budget, you're okay with the accommodation because you're traveling, you're with a group of friends, and that's how my entire trekking journey started. But today, I'd say, though we all crib that we don't get enough, I can definitely afford more luxurious trips, but any time given a choice, I trek. And between Sangeetha and me, I think we've done all of them. Day treks, overnight treks, unplanned treks where you slept at bus stops, in the car. I've slept in half-built houses because we didn't get accommodation. Crazy treks, going down the road, you see a hill and you say, okay, let's just climb it, and you realize afterwards that you don't have food, till you come down and drive another 100 kilometers. I think we've done the gamut of trekking. And in the middle of a busy day, or a busy schedule, there's always time and always energy for trekking. That's the story we'd like to share with you with our pictures today. This is the Sharavati Valley. For those of you who are not from Karnataka, it's one of the luscious, least explored, least touristy parts of Karnataka. You go there and you'll say, if you live here, you will become a poet. The state poet of Karnataka comes from the Sharavati Valley. It has the joke flowers, it has Agumbe, and it's lush and it's green. This trek that I went to started off not as a trek, but as a homestay. A friend of a friend told us, so we hired a car and we went with our kids. I went from work, so I was wearing some fancy slippers and jeans, and we realized it was an off-roading trip and trek, which means we were not dressed for it, we were not ready for the place, it was raining. My son came back with 8 leech bites, which he still today claims as his badge of honor. We had to cross a river. That's typically what the river was like when we crossed. And this is the bridge that I used. That's me right there carrying my son who was then 4 years old. We got posted on Team PHP simply because they thought we were crazy. And we were. I came back home, I showed these photographs, and everybody at home just freaked out. You know, how could you do this? How could you take a child and travel? How could you walk across that? What if you slipped and fallen? My lesson and takeaway from that, sometimes it's best to act first and apologize later. Otherwise, you're going to just miss out on the best experiences in life.
Yeah, stating from what Prathima said, very low on budget, very low on maybe resources, planning is absolutely zero, and that's how I did my Educomeri trip. Educomeri is a railway track. Yeah, it is on a railway track between Subramania and a spot called Educomeri. The beauty of this is you have to walk on the railway tracks, and it is deep valley, and you don't even have side rails to hold. Okay, so you have to time yourself between the two trains that go. And can you believe it, guys? We went there night, and we said the camp guide said you have to sleep here and start at 3:30 in the morning, because by around 11 o'clock the train goes. So we have to reach Subramania before that. And we say, okay, let's sleep in here. And where is in here? It is the railway platform. My jolly bag is my pillow, newspaper is my bed sheet, and that's how I spend the night in the Educomeri. And morning when we get up, look at the sky that gives, looks at you. I mean, these are some very, very humbling experiences for me. I am a part of such a beautiful universe. I'm part of such a big sky, a forest which is all accepting, all forgiving, and all encompassing. I mean, this is something that really, really makes me proud that I belong to this place, or it is encompassing every individual that is there. It has its side effects too. I mean, you come back with beach bites, the dress is torn, you have shoe bites, you have all sorts of things, you have body pains, and you can walk after that for 2-3 days. But I don't think I'll ever stop trekking because I get all that, right?
So the other story that I'd like to talk about is this place we went to last year, Feb 2013. Crazy month. Actually, it had been a crazy few months. I had just gotten launched. I was working crazy hours. I was worried whether to go anywhere, what would happen. So when my friend called and said, "You're going on a trek," I said, "No, I don't have the energy for it." Very hard to say, but it was true. All my Sundays were gone. My house was a mess. My family, anyway, doesn't have very great trust in my housekeeping skills, and they've given up by then. But this friend was persistent, and I went. Sangeetha is a small little hillock off Tumkur Road. It's a simple day trip. It has a lot of herbs. There's a nice cave temple that people visit. It's a different story that we entered the cave and we got lost. But that's not what I'm talking about. As we neared Sangeetha and we took the turn towards the hill, we saw the entire hill covered by a flower that blooms for just 1 week, the week of Shivratri. It's called the Jalari flower. It's a very fragrant flower. I unfortunately don't have a photograph of the hill covered by it, but the entire hill is covered by it. And when you look at that, the entire circus of the journey, the walk up, the crib, all of them following. So I believe that sometimes it is important to take the time, because you don't know what's waiting for you around the corner. If I'd not done it then, I'd probably never have gone back to look at it, and that's something that for me has been a learning. Always make the time to find the energy, because you don't know what you're going to miss otherwise.
Taking off from what Prathima said, this is a trip that I did last Sunday. That is the Sunday that I went, and that is what got us into travel here. I was actually explaining to Prathima, I went to Agni Prathima, and that was all exciting. bottles and said, if there is so much passion, you should talk about it. Avni is a place which is just 1.5 hours from here. This is the only Sita temple in India. Okay, for all the diversity that we talk about, Sita, Rama's wife, okay, she's worshipped here. On the hillock, there is, and that's me with my photographic gear and all that. It's a very, very simple walk up the rocks. This is where Valmiki ashram is. This is where Love Kush were born. They fought the Ashwamedha horse and defeated Rama. So it's a pretty historical or a mythological place. A very quaint village. No food available. Still animal sacrifice is pretty well practiced ritual here. We went with a group of few friends who are active historians here. Decided on Saturday evening and Sunday morning 4 o'clock we got up and went to this drive. Why do I do all these things? Why do I do treks? Why do I want to take a time off and do it? There are a few very, very concrete lessons I've learned in life. One is my grandma told me, when a wild animal, you spot a wild animal in the forest, don't run or don't turn your back on it and scoop. But look at it in its eye, stare at it, and then maybe slowly make a movement and go away. She had very, very clearly told me, animals can sense fear, okay? And I feel it's not just animals, it's even human beings can sense fear. If you see a person who's in a weaker spot, or if you sense or see a person who's in a not so strong a position, our human tendency is to beat that person even more than to strengthen that person. So for me, that one lesson is something that has remained a lot in life. Trying to spend time with myself, understanding myself, knowing what is my strength, my weaknesses. These treks, these walks in the forest have given me that space, have given me that time to introspect, and I think that's something that I really, really enjoy doing. My entire family, I've got them hooked on to doing trekking. So even my daughter, my son, my husband, all of us get on to this habit of trekking now. Is it the same with you, Ravi?
Not my husband, but the rest of the family, yes. I think it's something that you tend to do because it's a great way to spend time together. So as we wind down, one last story that I'd like to share. This was at the end of a long day of trekking. Friends back from college, desperate to go back and rediscover everything that we'd done in college. And we wrapped up the day at Heselgata. Now Heselgata is a small place off Bangalore, very much within the city limits today. It has a lovely lake, and we ended up at Heselgata at the time of the day that appeals the most to me. I find dusk very beautiful. Everything quietens down after all the hectic activity of the day. There's a calmness that comes in as the day wraps up. I'm obviously not a morning person, right? So this was at the end of a long, tiring day. We did not have food on time. We were quite frustrated. And then we came to Heselgata. We were eating biscuits because that's all we managed to buy on the way. And then we just watched the sun setting. And I think that's the whole point. Irrespective of whatever crazy day you had, however tiring or however difficult things have been, the one thing that you know is at the end of it, you always have home to come back to. I like going away on my treks, also because I know at the end of it, I can come back to something. So the contrast appeals, the difference appeals, the sense of security and the looseness. Both of them I think appeal really well. That's our story about trekking and why we continue to do it. Thank you all.